Welcome back to another episode of the Fifth Quarter Podcast. I'm your host, Marcus Jones, the Bluff City Cowboy, coming to you live from Memphis, Tennessee. And we have a special show for you guys tonight. We're going to continue our training camp discussions that we've been having for the past couple of weeks. And we got a special guest joining us to give us his insight on what he's seen with the Cowboys so far. If you guys are regular Cowboys fans, I know you follow the podcast. I know you see them all around YouTube. We got none other than Big Game James joining us tonight. How you doing, James?
I'm feeling good. I appreciate y'all. Number one, I love the title of the Fifth Quarter. That just works. I love that title. And, I just happy y'all brought me on, ready to talk some Cowboys football, and I'm just blessed to see another day.
Yeah.
Amen to
that.
I
don't know if you ever heard me say this, but the people who follow this show know I only follow a very selective few Cowboys podcasters. You're right there at the top of the list. So it's definitely an honor to have you on the show with us tonight.
Well, like I said, I'm always honored. Last time we did a show, Marcus, it was like 4 years ago. So it's good to see you again.
It was during the draft. I think it was the year of Michael Parsons, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So it's been a while. Man, the time's flying.
It is.
Jeez.
Man.
All right. So before we get into it, we got Mendoza joining us. So Mendoza, thank you for joining as always. Jose Font looks like a new name. Join us from Miami. So thank you for joining us in the down there off the coast. Lee Harrison's become a regular. Thank you for tuning in as always. And I see the views are still going up. So before we get started, guys, make sure you like this podcast. If you haven't followed DC4L, be sure to join both of those pages. Hit that like button. And also go over to YouTube. Find the DC4L YouTube page. And while you're at YouTube, go find me at Bluff City Cowboys. Sway K, the King Champ, looks like a new name. I don't know if this is one of your regulars, Big Game, but definitely appreciate
I think I've seen that name before, so shout outs to you.
We got Miami and West Palm Beach joining us. So
yeah, Miami deep up in here. Okay, Florida.
Coming in deep today.
Okay, Florida. I see y'all over there ganging up. Gang.
I'm getting it shared out too, so give me.
Okay. So in the top right hand corner, we got Amanda, the co-founder of DC4L, joining us as always.
We love her.
Pleasure to have her here as well. And you know when Amanda's on the show that there will be a giveaway. So make sure you guys stick with us. And at the end of the show, we will be giving away a prize. And all you have to do is stay in the comments and answer the trivia question that we have in store. So let's go ahead and get into it. David Bain, Mr. Scottish, thank you for joining. A lot of new names tonight. So definitely appreciate you guys coming in.
Welcome.
All right.
Jose.
What'd you say, Amanda? I'm sorry.
Oh, I said welcome, Jose. He said it was his first time here, but it won't be the last. We love to see that.
I like seeing that. There you go.
And we'll even take non-fans, and we'll be nice to you.
Yes, we will.
We'll be nice.
I'll be super nice to you today.
Yeah, we can discuss football without malice if you can.
And one thing I can say about everybody who's up here right now, we're all realists. So we don't go into anything with rose-colored glasses. So if you're an opposing fan and you have a take and it makes sense and it's logical, we definitely will agree with you. We're not just going to say, oh, because we're Cowboys fans, we're going to disagree.
Right.
I see we got my guy Jeff joining us as always. Thank you, Jeff, for tuning in. All right, so we got a lot to go over. Want to go ahead and get the show started. So we're gonna just go through different positions, different aspects of the game. We'll take a look at a couple of things just around the team. Let's start off with special teams first, because I'm a special teams guy, and let me preface
That
this.
you are.
He is. He did an entire show last week about
You're good with that.
I do it every year.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with the new kickoff rules before you go?
I'm gonna keep it real. No.
Okay.
I've been seeing them. That whole thing is weird to me. It's just weird. I'm gonna keep it real. I have not. I've seen it. I saw it in the UFL. I didn't pay no attention. I'm like, y'all brought it to the NFL, so I'm not gonna be a hater of it because it's new. You're the teacher. Please teach me.
Okay. So, essentially, you know how in a normal kickoff,
right,
the team starts off at their 30, and then they kick it off. The new rules, the kickoff team starts at the other team's 40. So the return team, normally there's like 3 levels of guys. So there's your front line, then there's a second line, and then there's your returners. Now everybody has to be on one line between the 30 and the 35. So they've compacted the kickoff and the kickoff return teams in their minds to minimize high speed collisions. So they think it's going to bring a safety aspect into it. The other big rule that's changed, when the kicker's still at the 35 on the other end, but when he kicks it, nobody can move until the ball touches the ground or until the returner catches it.
Oh, Lord.
So, again, that's another thing that they've put in place that's going to supposedly prevent a lot of collisions because nobody can move until the ball is active.
Okay, so Marcus, when do the flags come out? Like, do we have a prediction when they pull the flags out and just attach them to the hip next? Like, are we that's where we're headed? Sorry.
It's getting pretty close there.
It drives me nuts. Like, it's a violent game. I don't understand. It's football. It's a contact sport. I understand what they're doing, but at some point you're going to take away from the character of the game.
But it will lead to a lot more returns, though. I will say that. It's going to lead to a whole lot more returns.
Well, I'll take that because, I get tired of them kicking off, and as soon as it goes in the end zone, it's like nobody gets to return the ball anymore. So I definitely want that element because it is a major element of the game. I feel like it's taken away from the special teams and the returns because we've seen it. A punt return or a kick return can change the whole daggone game.
Yeah.
And that's been taken away out of the game. So if it opens that back up, I'm all for it because I like seeing that.
So this is the wrinkle that I see, and I want you to pay attention to this when the season starts.
Okay.
When I look at the kickoff rules, I basically see a glorified Oklahoma drill where you've got one guy here, one guy here. Instead of the running back being 5 yards back, he's essentially 10 yards back now. So it's going to be a quick collision. Running back has to pick a hole. I think you're going to see offensive linemen on the kickoff return teams because it's not a speed thing anymore. Instead of guys backing up 20 yards and then hitting, it's right there on the spot. So now you don't have to have a speed guy. But the benefit of an offensive lineman is they're made to block in small spaces. So if you put a safety in front of me, I'm 6'2", 330. If you put a safety in front of me, and I know if he goes around me, I'm so big, I'm gonna leave a gap right here where the running back can hit it. He has to come through me. And if I'm 320 and you're 215, you're going the other way.
Exactly.
Especially if you don't have but 5 yards to get ahead of steam because speed is completely out of it right now. It's basically bang, bang, the running back finds an alley. So I think you're going to see a lot of offensive linemen, a lot of tight ends, and we could talk about that in a minute. And I think on the kickoff team, you're going to see a whole lot more linebackers and fast defensive ends. So when you look at the team now, you see all these linebackers being signed. I think we're going to see a lot of those guys make the team because of these kickoff rules.
Because now special teams is going to really matter now, more than anything else. So you got to really have that foundation, and it's really going to bring special teams back. Yeah. It's going to be interesting for me to see, especially what you're saying and talking about seeing offensive linemen, because we really never saw that, right? We never really saw that.
Right. I think that's going to happen.
I think it could happen for the simple fact, I think strategy, because now you have this type of kickoff. I think the offensive, the special teams is really going to get, especially if you got a Bones and he's got this type of kickoff, he's going to be getting freaky with it, dog. He's going to get freaky with it. He's going to be coming out with all kind of surprise elements to really juice up the special teams aspect, because that's what he likes to do.
Didn't one of our coaches help install this plan right in the XFL? Which coach was it, Marcus?
Bones also helped to get passed in the NFL. He didn't install in the XFL, but he did.
I knew it was somebody. Okay. I'm excited to see Turpin with this aspect of the game, because he's such a dynamic player, but it's been really hard for him to really get the ball so far in the backfield and take off. So I'm really excited to see what Turpin can bring, but I'm actually worried it could cause more injuries to more substantial players. Like your special teamers, they're kind of plug and play. And then where does this put someone like a CJ Goodwin? Like, you look at the player look at his skill set. He is our special teams stud. How much is it going to change, do you think, Marcus, for him in his position? Because he's more of a gunner, right?
Yeah.
He's your gunner. How much is he going to be utilized now? What's going to change for him?
Oh, you're still going to need those gunner jammers on the outside on kickoff and kickoff return, because you have to have a speed element in case somebody breaks off. I just think the interior, if it's 9 guys, I think those interior 3 are going to get a lot bigger, because now you're going to
blocking is bigger.
Blocking is bigger, right? So you need a guy, if you can get a block right up the middle and he's at the 30 and Turpin catches it at the 20, once Turpin catches it, that's when the line moves.
Okay.
So by the time the line starts moving, Turpin may be at the 25. So all you got to do is make one good block, and Turpin's going to hit it and go. So I think you're going to see guys who are more natural blockers start to get back there, and I think it's going to be definitely a lot more tight ends. But I think they may find a way to put like a Earl Bostic Jr., just a freak athlete tackle who runs sub 5 that can move well in short spaces.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna see. Turpin, you got to get better vision. I love how quick you are and the dynamic, just like Amanda said, but your vision got to be better, because we've seen a few returns, more than a few, that you could have broke. You go the wrong way. You need to clean that up. You've been in with the Cowboys. Year 2?
This is year 3. This is
year
the last
3.
year of his contract.
Yeah, this is year 3, bro. You need to turn up, because you got these other boys, and I know we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
With the Jalen Croppers, the Jalen Brookses, the all these guys are starting to come up, so they're breathing down your neck, and you ain't the biggest guy in the world. So you're not gonna be able to just get on that field like that. So you're really going to have to turn up on this return game to give them something that may want to keep you beyond this year. And you got to break some plays. Dallas needs you to break open some plays this year, and that needs to happen for Turpin.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Donnell Rogers, thank you for joining us. Just a random question, then we'll really get into football. Sway the King Champ asked about, what do you think about the padded helmets? This year, players can wear those helmets in real games. I don't know if anybody's going to do it, but they are eligible to wear them in NFL games. What do you think about the helmets, and what do you think about guys possibly wearing them in games?
I hope they put one on Tua. He sure needs one. It's true. He needs like 3. Poor guys. James, you know how blunt I am. Come on.
Man. Hey, I'm happy that Tua was able to make it through this past season, because I thought his career could have been over. You know what I'm saying? Because it was looking like a real reality. So I'm happy. I don't know about it. I don't know how I feel about it. Like, I look at it, I get it. Y'all want us to be safe. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm gonna just keep it real. Like, I don't know how I feel about it. I get the safety, so I'm not mad at that. It just looks weird.
Yeah,
it does. It looks
just
very
like a I don't know what kind of. It just looks weird. Looks like a UFO in your head or something. Just looks weird. I'm be staring at the game. Just be staring at it.
I personally, I think it's more about protecting quarterbacks' hands than it is with preventing concussion.
Yes, that's a good thought. I never really thought of that because man, them hands. How many times do we see that quarterback releasing that ball? Dak had it right, hitting the helmets. Dak's done had it. We seen, and that can change a whole trajectory of your season if your quarterback breaks his hand or breaks a finger on a helmet. He out 3 to 4 weeks. So I can understand where you're coming from in that aspect. So it's just more giving the quarterback more protection.
Yeah, that's pretty much
China
it.
doll.
Now, Jeff, I did hear they're going to do that they're going to put the logo on the outside. I've seen some mock-ups of that, so I think that is the option. If they intend to wear one, I do believe that whoever makes them, I don't remember who makes them, but they have discussed adding the logo.
It's almost like a skin or like a stocking cap that goes over the thing that has the logo on it. Yeah, so that's an option.
It's like a helmet bonnet.
Yep, exactly.
Pretty much.
It is. I mean, if it makes it, hey, you know, you look at how many years that good teams have really fallen victim to concussions and even broken fingers. I didn't ever think of that broken finger aspect either. That's a really good point. I'm with James. I hadn't even thought of that. But you look at what happened to Dak. Now, look, Cooper Rush came in and made it happen. But no, not many people are going to do that. We all know the defense carried Cooper Rush for the majority of it till we got up to that Eagles game, and they couldn't carry him through that. But that's a really good aspect of it. So I think a lot of players are going to surprise us and choose to use it.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of players I think, is it optional at camp or is it mandatory?
It's mandatory at camp.
Is it mandatory at camp? Because I was about to say everybody's got one.
Let's keep it real. Let's be totally real. All it takes is a star to wear it. Everybody's wearing it.
Yeah. That's it.
If a star player like Mahomes or them are wearing it, they're all gonna wear it.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Yep. All right, let's go ahead and get into real football. Let's go position by position. We'll start with the offense. Let's go to the backfield. We got our new starting running back / retread Zeke Elliott. Looks like he's going to be leading the way, and then we got a bunch of other guys lined up behind him. What are your just initial thoughts? How much of a workload do you think Zeke is going to get, and what do you expect his possible production to be when the season starts?
Well, I mean, I wasn't excited when they brought Zeke back, and you know, a lot of people. I'm not hating on Zeke, but I just feel like you let it go. Why bring it back? It's almost like you had a girlfriend, you broke up with her, and y'all trying to rekindle it, and it ain't working. So I just feel like for the short yardage, I definitely understand that we suffered inside the 10 with running the football, but also feel like our offensive line was compromised and wasn't the top offensive line before. So I think that matters because I don't care if you have Zeke and how powerful he is. If that offensive line ain't doing nothing, he ain't gonna score no touchdowns neither. I don't care what you tell me. So as far as the touches, me personally, I'm like 10 touches a game and rotate that. You know, wait for that short yardage situation when y'all get around that 20-yard line. That's when you start sprinkling some Zeke when you need some of them tough yards inside. That's when I see. If you're talking about for a whole season, I wouldn't give him more than 500 yards on a season. Don't be trying to put him like he's that guy anymore. He's 29 years old. He's got a lot of tread. I don't care what they try to tell me that he's healthier. Yes, but it's still football. Them hits that you took, and Ezekiel Elliott wasn't running out of bounds. He likes the contact. He's going up the middle, taking the contact. That will wear on you eventually. And then, you know, people were saying, oh, well, they didn't have the greatest offensive line over at New England, but the run fits were almost about the same as Dallas. And I just feel like the element that he's going to give, we know the blocking, the short yardage, but please let's not go in here, Dallas, thinking Ezekiel Elliott is the answer. That is the wrong thought. That is the wrong thought pattern, and please don't do it. Even the guys that we have back there, I don't feel good about this running back room. I don't feel like the starting running back is even on the roster, and I think they should really look outside of it because you don't have no home run threat. You got a guy.
What about Pete? I want your info. What do you think about Pete? He's got the speed.
What school did he come from?
Missouri.
Missouri.
Yeah. Do I think they're going to play Pete?
They are not going to. That's the problem. That's what
That's
my
what I'm
biggest
saying.
issue with Zeke
They're
is.
not gonna do that. They're gonna play Zeke. They're
They're
gonna
gonna
go
play
Rico
Zeke.
Dowdell, their favorites, the people they feel comfortable. And then I heard Stephen Jones talking glowingly of Royce Freeman. So I said, "Oh Lord, well, Royce about to be the guy too." Once Stephen Jones is all pumping you up,
Great special
uh,
teamer.
yeah, you know what I mean. So I just like you said, Pete has that speed element, and that's what Dallas is missing. They need a home run threat. That's why you had Tony Pollard. You should have just never broke it up with Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard and
No.
should have kept it running. That was the best play to do. So no, I don't feel good about this running back room. I think they should look. I don't trust a rookie, Amanda. He is a rookie. I just don't know if Dallas knows how to really use these type of guys in these type of situations. So to me, I got a big question mark with this running back room, and I don't feel good about Ezekiel Elliott being that guy.
Okay. So I always feel like running back is one of the easiest positions to kind of transition onto another team. Scheme really doesn't matter. Just find the hole, run through the hole. Do you think there's a chance that we like sign a guy at cut day or look at a guy like a Dalvin Cook or Fat Lenny? Do you think those are options, or do you think we're just going to stick with what we got and roll with it?
See, that part of me says go out and look at the Dalvin Cook, right? Because I've been heavy on Dalvin Cook for the last couple of years, especially last year. Like, you don't have the tread. He barely played with the Jets, so he barely got no work. And I'm sorry, I don't think he fell off. That speed fell off like that because I watched him the year before and he still got over 1,100 yards and he was getting 80-yard touchdowns. He was still outrunning guys. So I'm like, that speed element is still there, and he's a vet, a polished vet. Why wouldn't you add that to the table?
Yeah.
But to me, it's about the money, Marcus.
Yeah.
It's about the money. If that running back come in and he like a Dalvin Cook, like I want this, we ain't paying that. So that's always the key. It's the money situation. So I pause before I jump out and say, yeah, I think we can definitely get a Dalvin Cook. We should definitely look at it. But Dallas, they already own this money thing, and Dak and CD got paid these guys. So I don't feel like they would spend a lot of money. So I don't know what running type of running back they would really get, because the good ones gonna want some kind of cash.
That's true. If it were me, I would go straight to the AFC East, and I would call the Jets about Izzy, and I would call Miami
about a chain or Wilson.
I don't think they would give A-Chain, but I would
Hell
call
no,
about Wilson.
No chain.
Didn't they just pick up another running back?
They did.
Didn't they take one?
Don't they got Raheem Mostert?
They still have Mostert too. Yeah,
they've got Wilson, Mostert, a chain, and then they picked one up in the draft. Like, because I was really confused about it. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Injury maybe? Were they concerned about injury? But Miami took a running back in the draft. I just don't remember.
They drafted Jalen Wright out of Tennessee, who's basically Mostert, but young Mostert. So they got 4 of the same guys. I would call them about one of those guys.
That's who I'm calling.
And the Jets drafted a running back also, and they drafted Izzy last year in the 4th round. I would see what they're gonna do, but all we can do is hope Dallas does that. Don't think it'll happen.
I like Mostert said, like I said, he still got the speed. He had didn't he have over 20 touchdowns last year?
He did.
He did. Yeah, he had a bunch of touchdowns.
Right. So, and he still got that breakaway threat. I think you need to have that element because, this is what I feel like the problem is going to be. I think this offensive line, I like what they did on the offensive line. We know Dallas is one of the top teams in drafting offensive linemen. Do I think the offensive line hits the ground running? No, because I think Tyler Guy might go through his struggles, but you see the talent. You see the talent across the board. But we have more of a power game. So if you have more of the power blocking, the power running back, well, what happens if that gets bogged down? Because you don't really have the speed element. Now we're going back to throwing the ball all the time, and Dak, and we know Dak can do it, but I don't care anybody says, quarterbacks love having a running game.
Yes,
it helps them. It makes the game easier for them. And so I'm just worried about if we're getting the negative yards or the offensive line don't hit the ground running and the offense gets bogged down, and we go back to throwing the ball. And hell, we ain't even got CD in camp. So, I mean, let's figure it out here, man.
Yeah, very one-dimensional right now. And people don't want to talk about it. People want to be blinded by, we've got these people. but we, like you're saying with the running back room, we do not have the speed, and because they're not going to give Pete the opportunity to play unless for some reason he comes out there in the preseason and absolutely blows them away, because they can cut him and not have to worry about him. He's a rookie. He's going to go to practice. He'll go to waivers, but if they don't play a lot of him, you ain't got to worry about anyone really picking him up. We don't have the speed. We saw what happened the last time that we were in that situation. I mean, Pollard couldn't get in between the 10s, in the red zone, not between the 10s, sorry. Couldn't get in between the red zones. He didn't have that power. So you brought Zeke back and you lose Pollard. Now you basically have three Zekes, really? Freeman, Dowdle, and Zeke. They're all the same person. When I look at them, I see everybody. I see the same person. So they really have about the same speed, about the same size, and they really have the same skill set. We're very one-dimensional in running back as well because there's no difference. So I'm just concerned as to where we're going to go. But to answer your question, Marcus, we're not going to bring anyone in because we like our guys. And and Jerry won't even pay our guys that are sitting, at home waiting to be paid so they'll come to camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I got one more running back question. You brought up offensive line. We'll go there next.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to put a percentage on the likelihood of Deuce Vaughn making the team, where would you put it at?
10.
Okay. Higher than me. No, I just wanted to gauge.
Because what are we doing with Deuce Vaughn? He's hurt now. It's a feel good story in my opinion.
It was.
Got the coach on there, and I feel like that's one of the reasons why you're keeping it there. I feel like they don't know what to do with him. You had opportunities last year. You could have did opportunities with him, even if he was a rookie. You could have figured it out, and they didn't. So now all of a sudden you're putting him in the slot and think, oh man, that's no. Why are we doing that? You putting Deuce Vaughn in the slot and stuff?
Yeah.
So I just feel like there's not really. I don't think they really know what to do. We're not the type of team like you see at Kansas City or even a Rams that really know how to freak these guys and really know how to put them in positions. Miami, they really go hard and look at their players and identify how you can really help us, and let's try to really get you on the field where you can help us. I don't feel like it's like that in Dallas. Like we had this thought in our head, we like our guys, so they stay with their guys, and they stay with their guys until the end. And I'm sorry, until I see them getting more creative, I don't see where an element of Deuce Vaughn really comes in and helps the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And if he's on the team, he's going to be at best running back.
I worry they're not going to cut him because of his dad.
That doesn't concern me because he's going to be running back 4, and he plays no special teams. He's never been a returner. He's
small.
He's small.
Sorry,
it's a dead spot.
He looks like a toddler.
He little. I'm sorry. We're talking about Turpin.
I think my 6-year-old is bigger.
don't do Deuce like that now.
What? I'm not kidding. You got. I'll send you a picture later, big guy.
Okay, I'll probably be like, oh damn, he is big.
He's a big kid.
All right, let's go to the offensive line. Had the draft pick. Everybody loved, including myself, Cooper Beebe. Great guard out of Kansas State. We've transitioned him to center. First question, what do you think about him transitioning to center? And follow up with that, do you think he'll stay at center?
That's tough, Marcus, because, we had his dad on the show. And, his dad was like, hey, he can do it. And I believe him because that's a football family. Everybody down there on in the household damn near play football and offensive line. So, that's their MO, right?
Yeah.
I know he's going through some struggles now at center. You know what I think, Marcus? If he really eats up this center, let's say like he really improves like preseason and just really takes over, I think that's going to be his spot. But I feel like if there's a little bit of wavering with it because he played guard and Zach Martin, he's not going to be here forever. He's toward the end. I could see him playing at right guard and being a dog at right guard. A dog. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it'll be a seamless transition going from Zach Martin to Cooper Beebe if he was at the guard position, right?
Right.
But man, I hope he takes over that center position because for me, I don't trust the Brock Hoffman experiment. Hey, Brock Hoffman, if you watch this show, I'm not hating on you, bro. I promise you, I am not. People might think I'm hating on you on Twitter and stuff, but it's not like he don't got no ability. And he plays hard, he goes hard, but I'm sorry, 17 games, I just don't believe that. I feel like the warts don't show in one game. And when he played in that one game against Washington, them weren't starters. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going off of one game against non-starters, as this guy could be the starting center for this. I'm sorry, I don't believe that. So I do want Cooper Beebe to take it because we need that power. Brock Hoffman, Marcus, I trust you because you know that line.
Mm-hmm.
But when I see Brock Hoffman, I still feel like he deals with power. He struggles with that little bit of power. He has the athletic bit get to that second level.
Yeah.
I think he's a smart player. I see him at the line. I think he's a smart player. But we had that problem with Tyler Biadasz, the power. If it was 3rd and 2, and we all know we wanted to run, they knew we wanted to run, we was getting stopped.
Yeah,
that's true.
And that's got to stop. And you need that power at that center position. And so I really hope he can take it. But I feel like, Cowboys love flex positions. They love you to be able to play multiple positions.
Mm-hmm.
So the guard position is always going to be open for him. But I feel like if he really gets that snap down and really becomes that guy, I think he stays there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like we took Tyler Smith really to take over for Tyron, but we can't move him now. It would be a crime to move Tyler Smith back out to left tackle with how well he's excelling at left guard. So I look at Beebe very similar to that. He would be really good to step in for Zach, and we know Zach's talking about retiring, but I see the holes that he made for Deuce Vaughn in Kansas. And I want that in my center next to my all-pro, between my 2 all-pro guards. Mm-hmm. I want Cooper Beebe to bring that power back because, like you said, our run game last year, I don't know what happened to Terrence Steele. We were terrible at the run. And then left tackle, of course, Tyron was in and out. We never knew if he was going to be there. And then, of course, you don't get the continuity because Tyron's not practicing last year. He didn't practice. Right. Now he's hurt again. He's already hurt in New York right now. So I really hope that Cooper, I love the fact that he fell to us. I did not expect him to. So I'm with you. I want him to work. Hoffman is a career backup. He is great for, a little bit of time, but I'm sorry. That's just where it's at. They were building him up all off season with those workout videos that the Cowboys were putting out. Did you see them?
Mm-hmm.
Like him working out. And it's like, come on. We've seen this song and dance. You try to sell us the story as, oh, look how exciting it's going to be. No, it's not exciting. We know what's up. He's not the answer. They got really lucky that they were able to get Guyton in the first and for BB to fall to him in the third. They got super lucky. It really worked out. And I trust the Cowboys when they pick offensive line. I don't trust anything they take really in the second round, but the offensive line players, they're usually spot on in their first pick. And some people had Cooper at a late first pick. So I'll take that as a win.
Yeah. Now, I will say this. I don't think Hoffman will be a drop-off from Biadasz, but I don't think it's an improvement. So I think it's about the same. Mm-hmm. It's certain positions, especially like inside of the close to the ball, where I'm looking for pointers, like guys who point. That lets me kind of know you're being visual and you're being vocal and you kind of know what you're doing. Just in the few clips I've seen Hoffman do that a whole lot more than Biadasz ever did.
Yeah.
Because when Biadasz was there, it was Martin.
Exactly. And that's what got me, I would say, okay, Hoffman, because he's a smart kid. He's a smart player. So I like that. But just like Amanda said, I'm sorry, he's a career backup. I'm not getting hyped about that. I'm not getting hyped that this is the next guy. Mm-hmm. You drafted Cooper Beebe with the thought of he was probably going to play center anyway. Yeah. So I'm sorry. I don't see no Brock Hoffman if he got cut going somewhere and being starting center somewhere else. No. Show me.
Now that'd be a tough sale.
And see, here's all the thing with us too. We get all these undrafted 7th rounders and all these players and try to sell them, just like Amanda said, sell them. You put them on another team, they're not even going to make the squad. And you're selling them to us like they're the next greatest player in the world. And I'm sorry, I'm not falling for that dream.
I agree.
When you've been a fan as long as all of us have, it's really hard to look at this team and to look at the nonsense that they tell us all off season. We're all in. Yeah, we're all in on nothing. Anyone who believed what Jerry said, and I tried to tell him after the show, Marcus, we talked about this on the show. I said, I don't know if y'all caught what Jerry said about 3 days later. He said, well, when one player might cost this much and you can get 3 players for this much, we're all in on those 3 players. That's what Jerry Jones was all in on. The cheapest 3 players he can get for the price of one. That's what That's what Jerry's at. So no, I don't buy any of the song and dance Jerry Jones says. And for anyone thinking Jerry stepped down, yay, it's going to be better. Stephen Jones isn't going to be any better.
Okay.
No.
Hold
on, y'all.
Okay. So Roderick Atwood asked a question. What about TJ Bass? What do you think?
I
love
TJ Bass, but I think where we're at now, I think they have penciled in TJ as the backup, like in their head, like he's going to be the good swing guard, your good swing center.
Yeah.
Somebody goes down, you can plug and play him. I like that. I like Bass. Bass had a little nasty streak. You feel me? But I feel like they're going to keep him in that backup role unless there's a big time injury, and then they're going to push him. But if you look at that, I love the depth. I think you have at least 10 offensive linemen on the final cuts, at least because you got a Sim Richards. I like a Sim Richards.
That's the next guy I was going to ask you about.
Yeah, I like him. I liked him last year. Okay. But I felt like he needed to get in the weight room a little more, Marcus and Amanda. I felt like he needed, and get the technique a little bit down. But I saw potential. I liked him. I just feel like I don't know, something about him. I like that kid.
Yeah.
He just has a good feel to him. And then you got Bass and then Hoffman. I feel like you're a backup, but I think you're a damn good backup. You know what I'm saying? You're not a starter to me, but as a backup, you fire. You know what I mean? I'm excited about that. And then I think Terrence Steele. I know he had his struggles last year, but I also feel like he had that injury, and I feel like he wanted to get his money because I don't trust you Joneses. So let me hurry up and get this knee together so y'all can pay me my money so I can feel a little bit more as my security. I feel like a whole year removed from that injury, he's a better player this year, and I think his power comes back in his power running and his power blocking in the running.
I agree, yeah.
I agree with that too, because a lot of people look. I dogged on Terrence last year too, but with reason. I mean, there was plenty of reason there to do it. But I've told people, he came back. Look what just happened. Michael Gallup retired from the injury. It's just not easy to have an ACL go out and then turn around. And he's in a hard position. He's going up against people like Micah Parsons, TJ Watt, these big guys. These are players that are coming at him that he has to fend off. So I really do expect to see him bring that power back because he got paid that money. It wasn't for no reason. He had a wonderful year right when he got paid, and then he got hurt. So I do think it'll be fine. Or actually, he got hurt. He got paid and then got hurt, right? Or did he get hurt and then get paid? That sounds more right for the Cowboys mindset, but I don't remember.
I think he got hurt and then got paid. He was trying to work back from that injury after he got hurt. And everybody was worried about, like, are they going to pay him now? But like you said, Amanda, Dallas loves seeing when you get hurt because they like, ooh, discount.
Discount.
Yep.
First thing to think, oh, you ain't going to ask for that money now. You hurt. Who else going to pay you? We got you now.
All right. Got another two more offensive linemen to ask you about. So we drafted Nathan Thomas, and I can't find anything on him.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a lot of Southeast Louisiana, wherever he came from.
Right.
I know you've talked to a lot of people, and you've seen people who have a lot more footage on him. What have you heard about him in terms of him as a player and his projections?
I haven't heard a crazy amount. I talked to Dominic White. He was out there in the Senior Bowl with me, and Dom tells me a lot of things. I think the biggest thing about him is he's a big kid and he got a lot of power. And I think Cowboys are trying to go back to that. We want to play power football.
Right.
We want to be able to run it down your throats, like he was talking about. Even Schottenheimer was talking about it last year. We want to have an identity when we know we're gonna run. We're going to run, and you ain't stopping us. That's the kind of identity they want to have in that run game. So I look at the people that they drafted, Marcus and Amanda. Look at Guyton, 6'7", 300. BB. What was the problem? Power. And even the Thomas kid, big, powerful. They put him over there with Duke. So I think the thing is power, but obviously hella green. But honestly, with the offensive linemen, like Amanda said, I don't trust y'all with a lot of things. But I'm going to sit back. Y'all do them offensive linemen. I'm going to sit back and shut up and let y'all do y'all thing with them offensive linemen. I ain't going to question y'all too much on them.
All right. One more offensive lineman. Got to talk about the other rookie tackle. That's Tyler Guyton. Now, right now, he's out, but they have Chuma Edoga kind of penciled in as the left tackle. David Bonke asked, what do you think about Guyton versus Myles Garrett? Do you think that'll even be an option week 1, or do they kind of slow play Tyler Guyton? What do you think?
Oh, why do I feel like they're gonna slow play him now? I feel like they see Chuma out there, and Chuma don't look terrible. I mean, he looked terrible last year.
Yeah.
He don't look bad in practices. For people saying he just looked, that's not true. He has looked better in practices. So that offensive Solari, I say throw that rookie out there and hit that damn ground running. I know you got Myles Garrett, but you did it with Terrence Steele, and he was undrafted. You threw him to the wolves with Myles Garrett, and we got his ass whooped. But did Terrence Steele get better?
Most definitely.
He got better. And we can say Tyler Guyton from the potential was better than Terrence Steele, right? So I'm saying throw that rookie out there and hit the ground running and just take that stuff off him. You drafted him in the first round. Why are we sitting him? That's just me, y'all.
It makes me mad too. And look, we did it with Tyler Smith. You threw him out there at left tackle when Tyron got hurt. Look, if you don't put him up against the best, he's never going to learn to play against the best. Throw him out there and let him go up against Myles Garrett. Put an extra. What is that? The jumbo package they go out there and run sometimes. If he starts struggling, do a jumbo package. But if you do not put him out there, why the hell did you draft him in the first round if you aren't going to play him? Why did you let Tyron Smith go when you're already paying him money on your cap already? Why did you let him walk if you aren't going to play the guy you drafted to take his spot?
Makes sense.
You'll see me yelling at home.
I agree with you, Amanda, on that because you had Tyron Smith for all them daggone years, and if you let him go, why'd you let him go? Because you felt like it's time. Or I said the time was 3-4 years ago. Should have got some capital for him, but it is what it is. You got to let this rookie just get his lunch because he's next to Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith is a veteran now.
Yeah.
Tyler Smith now is one of the leaders on the offensive line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Tyler Smith got some knowledge because guess what? Tyler Smith played that same position, dog, and he hit it as a rookie. So I'm sure they're going to have some stories, or I'm sure he can tell you some stuff now. I let them two young guys grow together now.
Right.
Let them go together now because, boy, them two on the left side, that's one thing I am excited about, watching them two in particular on the left side grow together.
Well, if you think about that offensive line with Dallas, though, real quick, so you got Guyton, Smith, Beebe, potentially Beebe, which even that's power. Zach Martin, the line is great. The productivity can be there, the power is there, the ability's there. Put them out there, let them cook. If we're going to find out, I've seen some holes. Heck, I've seen Zeke getting through at some holes against Micah. Like I've seen some really good stuff in camp. Look, it's practice, yes. But if they're making holes and going up against Micah, that's one of the best things that Tyler Guyton has going for him. He's going up against someone that is so good defensively. So he's got the ability there. They're giving him pointers, like just let him play. I'm really tired of Jerry and their ridiculousness because Chuma Edoga got Dak like almost injured quite a few times last year.
Yeah.
Like we've done that experiment. Put him as your swing tackle and just let's go.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the tight end position. So, because of the kickoff rules, I think we're going to go a little deep at tight end. But we all know Jake Ferguson is kind of the guy.
Right.
Who else do you like in our tight end group? Because Schoonmaker's always hurt.
Boo.
So he's going to be on the team, but don't look for
Harbaugh.
much from him. But outside of Schoonmaker, who we know is going to be there, what other tight ends in that group do you like that could possibly make the roster?
I mean, I'm gonna keep it real. I was really hyped on Hendershot. Like I was so hyped on that kid, man. But he just don't be consistent. He's not consistent, and that's all. He's frustrating. He'll make an awesome catch, and you like, see, that's why. See, and then he'll do something like, see, that's why. That's what he is to me. He's a see, that's why. It's either good or bad. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of out on him now. I can't trust him no more. You've been here long enough. You should be doing better by now. So I can't trust you no more. So I'm out on him. I feel like they're going to keep John Stevens because they liked him so much last year and he was going to make the team until the injury.
Yeah.
I think they're going to let him slide in just because of that, you know? And what we saw last year, obviously, you want to see put some more work in. You want to see some preseason games this year, right?
Yep.
But, hey, the kid got talent, right? And we got some speed. Like, we need a little more wiggle. Like, Fergie got that wiggle. We need some wiggle tight ends. Finally move away from the Jason Witten types. I ain't hating on you, Jason. I ain't hating on you, dog. but I want to move away from your types. We need to get athletic tight ends. We need to get mojo type tight ends. You know what I'm saying? We need to get those tight ends that really put the fear in defenses so it can really open up the offense, right? And Fergie does that. And I like the Stevens kid, and I like the Brevin Ford kid that they've been talking about. I've been seeing him.
Ooh,
I think he has some good potential. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think we kind of got to get in that area where they're getting kind of, more athletic. That's what I wanted to see at the tight end position. And I think they're heading that way, and I like it. And like I said, Hendershot, you really could have did something in Dallas, in my opinion. I think you really could have been a guy when they have you and Fergie early. You could have been that two-back system that they were trying to do with Dalton Schultz and Blake Jarwin. But I just feel like he's just too inconsistent, and they want these other guys now.
I have a question for you, Big Game. Okay, so what if this is my proposal? Of course, I have no say so, but I would call LA and I'd tell their new coach there in LA, hey, I've got your tight end. He's sitting here. I mean, would you take a very low round pick to get rid of Schoonmaker and get him off your roster because he's worth absolutely nothing? Because I think you could find something, at least a player or something, and start gaining your draft capital next year. Because I just don't think Schoonmaker is going to, he's not contributing to this team. And Harbaugh, that's his guy. Think about it. That's his guy in Michigan. So that's my theory. Would you do that if someone would take it?
I like your thoughts, Amanda. I'll be with it because ain't nobody hyped about no Schoonmaker. What does Schoonmaker do? What does Schoonmaker add to your team? You drafted him in the second round. What does he add to your team? And you know what? I was lighting his ass up last year, y'all. I was lighting him up, and people were getting on me. And you know what they were telling me? He can block. You draft a 7-round blocker. That's what we leaning on, a 2nd-round blocker. There's a lot of tight ends that come in and block, 6th rounders, 7th rounders. And what does he add in the passing game? I didn't see it. It was real regular. There was nothing that he was doing that was showing us that, see, Schoonmaker, he's legit. He didn't show that, not in my opinion. And he's old. He's older. Dude, you're almost 30. You're creeping there. So I'm feeling you, Amanda. But we know Dallas don't know how to wheel and deal. And we also know Dallas drafted him in the 2nd round. So they're going to force him down the throats to justify the pick to us.
What is up with the Cowboys' failure in the 2nd round? I don't understand. We seem to miss. It's either injured players or people from Michigan.
Maybe Marshawn Freeland breaks that.
I really hope so. I like him.
Because he looked good. He looks good.
He does. We'll talk about it when we get there. But I brought that up last show I was on with Marcus. I'm like, I don't know why Jerry's not picking up the phone. That's a perfect opportunity to fix a mistake and right a wrong.
They don't never want to admit their mistakes, and that's the problem.
That's exactly it. But that's at least, see, Marcus, I'm decent at this stuff. I'll be the GM for the day and I'll fix the team in an hour. I'm just going to give people their money, okay?
You're going to be the Charlotte Joneses.
That's right.
But the problem.
What is it? That's my daddy. I own part of this team now.
The problem, like Jose Font said, I mean, he has to stay healthy long enough for us to make the trade even happen.
Yes.
And that's another problem we're dealing with. He's going to essentially take a roster spot being injured of a player that we could actually use.
We better not hear about him going on IR, y'all.
Oh, that's
okay.
I'll tune in if it happens to your show. Man.
I'm gonna go be going. You're gonna hear a good rant on that one.
All right. We're at 48 minutes. We're almost done with the offense. We're gonna move to the defense. At the receiver position in particular, from the clips that I've been seeing, it looks like Dak has been throwing it deep a whole lot more this training camp than years past. And in particular, it looks like he's finally got that connection with Brandon Cooks that we were hoping for last year, but we didn't see into the last 6 games. Do you think Brandon Cooks is going to take another step and go back to close to his 1,000-yard stats that he was putting up before he came to Dallas?
Y'all remember when we got Randall Cobb and the impact he had when Randall Cobb came over here for that year? I liked when Randall Cobb came in. Him and Dak had some really good chemistry, and I felt like he added a really good element. I think it could be, Marcus. I mean, I was hyped about when they got Brandon Cooks because I'm like, we got some speed now. It's trying to some defense to spread people out a little bit. But obviously it was disappointing, but he came on at the end of the year. So that's what got me feeling better. because we start seeing that connection working toward the end of the year with him and Dak. And then,
Yeah.
as you said, Marcus, I've seen Dak throwing a lot deep. And
Woo.
man, I can't even front. Dak's long ball been looking real pretty.
Mm-hmm.
It's like his long ball been. I can't even front. Your long ball been looking real pretty, Dak. So I think Cook can, especially CD ain't around. So Cooks has got to take a step up. He's been the guy, right? He
Yeah.
was drafted to be a guy. So he's already has that veteran leadership to know how to do it. So he's going to have to take his game up to a notch, dog. He's going to have to take his game up to another notch, especially with CD being out, because there's got to be some direction. I'm not down on the receiving group, but it's unproven, and I think that's where my pause is right now.
Right.
Real quick, I was excited. I told Marcus, I said I'm really excited because with CD holding out right now, that gives players that were underutilized an opportunity to play on the first team and get first team reps. Players that would normally be getting second team reps, like your Moreno Cropper, Brooks. You've got these players now. Tolbert's been first team, we know that, but these guys are starting to get reps, and the Jalens have been really going off in camp. And I've seen Brandon Cook sitting beside them, working and talking and showing them different routes. Who was it yesterday? Moreno Cropper, one of our mods, is on site at Oxnard, and the routes, I thought I was looking at Amari Cooper ran route there for a second at the cuts because it was really impressive. So not having CD there might actually end up benefiting this receiver room more than most people. Instead of we have to look past the CD thing, there's nothing we can do. We have to find the benefit of it. And Dak's building chemistry with multiple receivers on this roster right now. And that's going to be successful. Anything can happen. I hate to say it. Big contracts come out. We know what usually happens after a big contract happens. Down years, injuries. It's just part of the game. You have your exceptions to that rule. But come on, look at it. Trevon Diggs, big contract injury. I mean, I can go. Dak got injured, then we had to pay him big money. Let's see. Who else is there? I can go on and on. I just can't think of it at the moment. Michael Gallup.
Trust me, you can get a book and pull up all the NFL and see when they get them big contracts and they hold out. It's always like some kind of they don't have the year that everybody's expecting because man, it's just the truth. You got to have that camaraderie. I get it. Like it's not like CD's not training. I know he's going hard, but it's just different when you're training away from the team. Mm-hmm. It's just different. I don't know what it is, but it's just different. And for me to just think, oh, everything's just going to be okay. No, I don't feel that way. But to your point, Amanda, it is good to see these other young guys being able to get an opportunity because you probably may not got that opportunity with CD being there. Mm-hmm. So Dak really gets to hone in this chemistry because we're really wanting to see what him and Jalen Tolbert is going to do, right? Because Jalen Tolbert was a third rounder. He's got to show this year. This year, 3. You need to find out who you are because if you don't do it this year, we know what you are, and you're probably going to be gone from the Cowboys within 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just back to the receiver real quick, and then we'll move to defense. Well, we'll talk about quarterbacks briefly. We pretty much know who the top 4 receivers are. Lamb when he returns, Cooks, Tolbert, Turpin. Who do you think is going to take that 5 or 6 spot? Who do you think is kind of in the early runnings for those? You think
I like Jalen Brooks.
Brooks is still there?
I like Jalen Brooks last year. I think he has strong hands. He's a big physical receiver. I think he's a guy that you can over the middle. And I think he's a guy that you can get them little tough yards over the middle and things of that nature. And then you've been talking about Cropper. I mean, that man been a madman right now. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I seen they said Ryan Flournoy. I'm sorry. You came from a small school. I'm not going on that one. I'm just not. And Cropper's already been there. Wasn't Cropper there last year?
Yeah, he was an undrafted guy last year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy? Every dang on player we talk about is undrafted, but I'm just saying. Anyway, I like Cropper. He has good explosion, short area quickness, and he's just really been giving a lot of the cornerbacks in camp the blues, especially Nahshon Wright. He's been tearing him up. Take Nahshon Wright off him. Don't do that no more.
We'll talk about Nahshon Wright in a minute.
He reminds me of Dez with the height that he can get. Cropper. I've been watching. He's got the ups. Like he's getting up there and going after the ball. I'm not comparing him. I'm just talking about Dez could always go up and get a ball. Yeah. And I'm not even a Dez fan. He was very good at it. I'm seeing those skill sets in Cropper. I'm okay with, I don't know what it is about Jalen and receiver in Dallas, but I think Turpin might even better watch himself. I mean, he's not going to go anywhere because of he's going to be a returner, but he might find himself out of that. He might find himself out of that wide receiver, core if he's not careful.
And that's what I was saying. Like, he's on this. I don't know what kind of where they're really putting him on the offense because he is smaller, and it's just what it is. If you're a smaller receiver, man, you got to be super dynamic. You got to be above everybody else if you're smaller. Like, you have to show things that people are not seeing. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, they're small, but they are uber fast. They run those routes like they're a different type of smaller players. So you'll go with that. Turpin's not really that. So somebody can take your spot, just like you said, Amanda. And if there's a guy that's bigger than you, is pretty much doing the same thing, why would they keep you? Just my opinion.
Yeah. All right. So we got one more position, and then we'll move to defense. We're at 55 minutes. Defense will probably go a lot quicker than offense because there's just so many guys on offense that are new. Defense has a lot of returning guys, so we kind of know where we stand with them. At quarterback on this show, Big Game, we don't talk about Dak because
that's what's up.
If you bring Dak's name up, it can go into an hour left or
right. I feel you.
So I don't even bring his name up.
So exhausting.
Yeah, it's hard trying to defend him, even from just a basic level of talking football. It's just too hard. But we have to talk about our number 3 that they want to be the number 2/number 1 in Trey Lance. Now, I know you probably saw the clips that came from practice and from that one day in particular. Do you think
one day?
I'm talking about the one day he had the three terrible interceptions.
There was only one.
Those were pretty bad. What? So, just talking about him in particular, do you think this has just been a bad training camp for him, or this is what he is?
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because I remember when Dak Prescott was young in his young years, first 2-3 years, and in particular, I used to always listen to Brian Broaddus, and they say, hey, he's not a great practice player. He's not a great practice player. Okay. So don't trip over them interceptions because that ain't what he is. Like, and so I took Brian Broaddus and said, okay. And then we saw Dak. It was a different player, right? We saw Dak get in that damn first preseason game, and you can't tell us that was the game. They'll go back to it for 100 years. When he came in and turned up in that Rams game, you were like, oh, okay. Yeah. So for me with
Trey
Lance, I'm not gonna put a lot of weight in that in the training camp. Let me see you in preseason. Now, if you come in that preseason doing what you did in training camp, this might be what you is. So I don't know what he is, y'all. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Okay.
He hasn't had a lot of tape. He hasn't played a lot. He didn't play a lot in San Francisco. He was hurt. He came over here, didn't get no time on the field last year, which I don't even understand that at all. You had blowout games where you could at least throw him in there for some. Yep. So I don't know what Trey Lance is. I know he's athletic. He's got a strong arm, but he ain't played no football. So I don't know what he is. So in my opinion, you better throw him out there in that preseason and play the hell out of him so y'all can see what he is. And if you're going to maybe get value for him later or keep him on the team, I just don't know what he is, y'all, to be very honest. And that's one thing I really do want to see in the preseason is him play. And, I want them to kind of, put him in good situations, not no funny handoff. I want to see him throw that damn ball.
So Sunday's game, how much do you think he plays? You think he's playing all 4 quarters? Do you think
at least 3 quarters?
Half? Think he's going
I'm playing him 3 quarters, y'all.
Okay.
Would you play him, Marcus, 3 quarters?
I'm playing him all 4. I'm not
I feel you. I'm being nice.
I know what Rush is. I know what Dak is. I don't need to see them.
You're right. I agree. I'll play him the whole damn preseason. You don't even need to play nobody else.
I just can't imagine Kyle Shanahan with his extremely friendly quarterback system if he traded his first pick that he moved and sold mountains to get up there for nothing.
But they said he ain't the one that wanted him, Amanda. They were saying the front office wanted him, and he was like Purdy.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. See, I didn't know that. All I know is I'm going to play him as much as you can play him.
Yep.
But I agree. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say because I don't want to. I will go on this subject forever. I've had a great time laughing at videos coming out of training camp, so it's made me quite joyous. Just because, well, I've got a feeling what it is. Sometimes you sell the farm, and the farm, and you should have. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Look, we do it. The Cowboys. I still think they brought him in trying to get inside on Shanahan's system because they knew we were going to end up playing in the playoffs, which we never ended up getting to the playoffs. But I don't think he provided what Jerry was looking for. I think it truly was an idea to get a glimpse into why we couldn't get around the Niners. It is. Not really. If you look at what we paid, fourth round pick.
Right.
Yeah, but Jerry does. Well, he gave Amari Cooper away for a bag of chips and a drink. I mean, he doesn't value those picks. Jerry will do anything just to be in the headlines, and that made headlines. So.
Well, like I said, I didn't hear Mike McCarthy saying that he wanted Trey Lance. They didn't even talk to him. They didn't worry about what he thought or felt or anything. They were like, we're going to go do this. And once again, in my opinion, here it is. We know Cooper Rush, right? We know what Cooper Rush is, right? Cooper Rush, I mean, he could probably maybe be a decent backup somewhere else, but he showed me, I don't know if he showed y'all, I think he did. I didn't think he was going to win the damn game. I'm keeping it real when he came in. So he surprised the hell out of me, and it wasn't like we were playing bummy teams. Played the Rams, played the Bengals. So it's not like, and yes, Cooper Rush didn't carry him, but he looked okay. The defense was playing hella good, and the running game was okay, but he didn't look bad. And we know Cooper Rush is a very smart player. He doesn't have the physical aspects of the game, but the mental aspects, he has those parts of the game. So you saw what he could do. So to me, he's like, okay, he showed you he could win games. So why'd you get Trey Lance again? Just my theory, my thoughts. I know why you did it. It was once again news, and we don't know we don't know what we're gonna do with that. So I'm gonna take a chance on this top 5 pick. I'm gonna take a chance on the top 5 pick because we don't know exactly what we're gonna do to that. I don't care what you're telling us in the media. Oh, we love that. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. Love shows. Love don't talk. Love shows. I ain't seen the love. So when you went and got Trey, I felt like you didn't love him. That's why you got Trey. Now Trey ain't looking good, and that's why you flipped that trade and in this year's draft, because daggone well, y'all, if we didn't have that 3rd round pick, it would have been bad business in this draft this year.
Yep,
man.
All right, let's go into the defensive side of the ball. We're at 1 hour, so I don't want to hold you too long, big game, but we appreciate any time we can get from you.
I appreciate y'all.
Defensive line, I got 3 players I got to ask about, and they're all young guys. So we got to start with the elephant in the room first. Mozzie Smith. So when I'm looking at footage, I'm seeing what people are saying, and then I'm also seeing what I'm seeing from clips. When I see him play, I'm seeing him transitioning between first team and second team, and I'm not seeing much improvement for what I saw last year. What are you seeing? And I know you're close to Brandon Tucker, defensive line guru. Has he given you any nuggets about what he may have seen from Mozzie?
The main thing, B Tuck was talking about, because he was just on my show like about 2 weeks ago, and we were specifically asking him about, questions about Mozzie.
Yeah, I watched that show.
And, what I was getting from Tuck was the mental part was not really there. And when that mental part is there, the whole game falls off. And that's what I was getting from Tuck. And then Tuck said, if you're taught to play one way, you've been doing this a whole time, you come to a whole different system and they're like, no, we want you to play this way.
Yeah.
Some people can't do it, and I feel like that was the big issue, right?
Yeah.
And I agree. I'm listening to you, Marcus, and I'm like, okay, he had a better week, but I'm not. Ooh, okay, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
And I don't need him to make these, get in the backfield, making all kind of sacks, but I still see you getting pushed around. I still see you get moved out the spot.
Still the last one off the snap.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see where it is jumped from year 1 to year 2. Maybe some technical things, because Zimmer is, tell you how to use your hands. How to be able to anticipate maybe double teams, hold the point of attack, those type of things. I'm sure Zimmer is really doing it. And we've seen Coach Z, who I love. I love his attitude, because I feel like he coaches how he plays. People may not really watched him, but He was a pretty good player in the NFL. People may not really know that. So I like how he coaches him hard. Sorry, y'all. Only Jordan Lewis, only one turned up at Michigan and Dallas. So y'all got a bad spot. And until y'all change it, I'm not thinking you doing nothing. Yeah. Sorry.
I agree.
David made a good comment there in the chat. I don't know. I was literally about to ask James, why do we not value the defensive tackle position? I can't figure it out. We don't.
I don't think they just know how to draft it good. Let's keep it real, y'all. They look at the defense. They don't know how to. They know how to draft offensive linemen, but you don't know how to draft defensive tackles. And look at it. We always get a defensive tackle in the 6th, 7th round. Like every time. You just got Rodgers in the 7th round. Now, Marcus, you may feel good about him. When we had Tuck on there, I ain't feeling good about him. Now, I ain't saying he's a bad player, but if we're going into a season with a rookie 7th round pick, those are unicorns. If you think that guy is, if we're putting the stock in him succeeding, or we're putting him as the guy that's going to really hold it down, I'm sorry. I got to see that, but I'm not believing that. I talked to Tuck and he said those are rarities that those happen in the NFL, and the fact that y'all keep waiting and waiting till last rounds when there's some defensive tackles that can help you, and you think, oh well, we can just get a bunch and we can just make it work. You got that Ron Marinelli theory of having orphans out there, and we saw how that happened, how that worked. It didn't work good, and when you play those top teams, it gets exposed.
Yep.
Would you have brought Hankins back?
I would have brought Hankins back because he wasn't going to cost a lot of money. That's the thing. He was. Y'all talk about cheap, but he would have been cheaper too. And I think he wanted to come back. Why wouldn't you take a guy who wanted to come back and he was cheap? Now, toward the end of the season, I saw he wasn't doing the greatest, but I mean,
he was playing way too many snaps for his age.
Yeah. Exactly. There you go.
Because Mozzie wasn't able.
Because Mozzie wasn't doing anything, and he's a big guy. He's not coming in and getting sacks because he was never a sack guy. I mean, I wanted him years ago because I followed him at Ohio State. I saw him at Ohio State. And I know what he was, and I know what he could have added to him. I wanted him when he was like 27, 28. Dallas waits till they get him until he's 30 and cheaper. Make it make sense.
Yeah, that makes sense for Dallas though.
Yeah.
So, watching the blue and white scrimmage, there was something I noticed that just terrified me and made me angry. Okay. When I looked at the defensive line, the defensive tackles, our first team unit was Golston and Osa, and neither one of them over 290.
Right.
And then when I look at the second unit, there was Mozzie, and then the shocker was Junior Fehoko was playing defensive tackle.
Lord.
What?
Yeah, he was playing defensive tackle.
So
I knew they were going to do that to him, though. I knew they were going to do that to him.
Went from playing no snaps last year, and now they're okay.
Yeah, and he has to be 280 at best. They even had Marshawn Nealon lined up at defense.
That pissed me off.
You saw that, Marcus?
Too? I made a tweet on my Twitter. I said, "Don't ruin this young man because he's a good player. Don't ruin him doing the Tyron Crawford on him.
Yep.
Leave him alone. Let him play on the outside. Y'all keep on trying to freak these small guys in the middle, and we be getting punched in the mouth, y'all. It's frustrating. Osa is a very good player, but he wears down. You're putting him in there. He's taking the center and the guard. That's not, man, come on, man. Let him get upfield. Let him be able to create. And then, like you said, we got Golston. Golston is okay.
Yeah.
Okay. He's not bad. Golston's okay. That doesn't inspire that we're going to stop the run effectively. Now, Marcus, Amanda, we got Coach Zim, Grandpa. I love Grandpa Zim. Grandpa ain't going to let people just run on us. He take that personal. Yep. So I feel better that we have Zim there because Zim and Dan Quinn, to me, are night and day as far as their coaching styles, technique, what they're going to bring. So I will say I feel better in his coaching, but I don't feel better about the players at the position.
Well, you can't really, give fault to Zimmer on that either. That's just,
I know.
That's he's
working doing what he's dealt with. Yep.
Yeah. Right. But, the thing with the main difference between a Quinn and a Zimmer shops the run. He wants big, beefy boys up front. That's his thing. Quinn cares about one thing. Well, I guess technically two: turnovers and sacks. That's the name of Quinn's game, and it cost us ridiculously multiple times. I mean, look how many times, I don't know. I still feel like that Green Bay game was really weird. I don't know what we were doing. I think we were playing zone and we never play zone. Like I couldn't figure that out. So I'm excited because Zim's there, but I do not think we have the personnel to run what Zim likes to run. So I think that's going to be really hard on us. And I don't have high hopes for this year. My hopes are very tempered going into the season. So I think that will help. But I don't know. I really think this is one of those years where Jerry's just kind of like throwing something together because he might be planning to throw the baby out with the bathwater and start over next year. I mean, all the ingredients are there. All he's got to do is throw it in the pot. Your coach, your quarterback, your wide receiver. I mean, half the team's up for either on a contract year next year or up for a contract at the end of this one. I mean, we've got a lot of problems, so it's interesting. We'll see.
Yeah. Let's go to defensive end really quick. So I know Sam Williams was down with that horrific injury. I thought he would have made some big impact.
I thought he was going to turn up this year, in my opinion, Marcus. I just felt like Zimmer was going to give him his opportunity. And, even when we had Tuck on, Tuck was like, because, Tuck trained Sam's. Tuck trained Sam for, I think, 2 or 3 years. They have a really good relationship. So, we picked his brain about Sam. And, we're like, hey, come on. We're asking you the number one question. Why the hell Sam Williams be goofy? Why does he do that stuff? And, he was like, you know what? When somebody feels like they should be playing more and they have the talent, and you draft them in this spot and you're only getting a certain amount of snaps, you press. Because, I'm not going to be playing a lot. All right, this next series, I'm going to be out the game. So I need to make a play. I need to make something happen. I need to do something. And I didn't see that as coming off an excuse because I could see where Sam would, in my head, think that I could see him pressing because he's frustrated. Remember, you looked at his Twitter. He was talking, I want to play.
Yeah.
So, it was no secret. And then when you're getting limited snaps, you will press because you feel like you got to make a play to stay on the field. So sometimes you see the offsides or things like that. So I agree with that, but that really hurt me about Sam because I felt like he was going that 10-sack season we were talking about. I think he would have had it this year.
Yeah,
I think it was going to be his. I think this was his breakout year too.
Me too.
It was really,
Me too.
And it wasn't just what makes it even worse. Just salt in the wound. It wasn't just an ACL. It was an ACL and an MCL, right? Isn't that what the last news update was?
Yep.
I was excited to see him. So.
All right. So great point you just brought up about Sam Williams. So we got another second round defensive end. Do you think we're going to kind of see the same thing with him this year? Or do you think they're going to really rely on him to kind of step up and be a major rotation piece with the edges?
I think he's a major rotation piece this year.
Okay.
I really do. Second round pick. Sam is hurt. He's got ability. I don't care anybody say. He played at a smaller school. Well, smaller D1 school. But he's got ability. And the thing I love about him, Marcus and Amanda, is he can do it 2 ways. He can beat you with that hand in the dirt. He can stand up.
His
stand-up game is nice. He can attack you from multiple spots on that defense. That's good for Zimmer. That's good for Dallas, right? And if you really watched him in college, this is the one thing that really impressed me. And I don't think a lot of players can just automatically do it. When the defensive edge is coming off there, we've seen it from DeMarcus Lawrence. He comes too hard around the edge, and the quarterback slides up, and DeMarcus Lawrence misses the sack. How many times we've seen him fly by the quarterback and miss the damn sack?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's notorious for that. Him and Tyrell Crowe were the almost guys. They almost get in the sack. They almost get in the sack, right? But when I see Nealon, he knows how to gear down and really go after. So if that quarterback sees him and he starts to scramble, he knows how to mirror and gear down to be able to get that quarterback on the ground, the running back. That was a thing that I saw him on his tape. That's what really excited me. And when you got a guy who can play multiple, stand up, hand in the dirt, you can do a lot more things with him.
Yeah.
And I just feel like he don't have a rookie mentality either. I think he's got a mature mind. So I feel like they're going to throw him in there, especially with Sam Williams. With Sam Williams being on the field, I think they slow cook him.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like if he shows Zimmer some stuff, I feel like Zimmer's like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah. Two things. I'll be honest. I wasn't a fan of the pick.
Tell me why.
So when I look at him play, he definitely has power. But I felt like he bullied a lot of guys and he didn't really show any bend for an end.
Yeah.
Now he did like you said, he wouldn't go past the quarterback. He knew how to work back and get to the guy. But I just saw level of competition. It was like big brother taking on little brother, and I didn't see a lot of bend. I saw Joe Jackson. I don't know if you remember Joe Jackson from Miami.
Yeah, I remember from Miami.
Yeah, that's who I saw with him. Good player, but I didn't see second round. So I've been pleasantly surprised to see that he's been kind of taking a step in training camp. So I'm looking forward to seeing him grow. And outside of that, he didn't have any counter moves. Like, he has the grown man hands. He has to push the pocket, but he didn't have much outside of that. So those were kind of concerning for me, considering I thought he would be playing right defensive end for this team. But I'm pleasantly surprised by what I'm seeing.
Those are great points, honestly. If you look at his career, he wasn't a high sack guy at all. So if you want to keep it real, that's a D-Law clone, 4.7 speed, just like you talk. If we keeping it real, and maybe that's why, Marcus, to your point, when you said that he doesn't have the bend, but he kind of knows the game, because when players realize I'm not as athletic as that guy, I got to do other things. So I got to really be good over here, just like with Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning didn't have them physical attributes. Nope. Peyton Manning was a dog because he knew I ain't the most athletic guy, so I'm gonna have to beat you other ways. And I think that's where I'm gonna go and lean on Needham, Marcus, on this one. That he'll have that technical game.
Yeah, definitely.
Start learning, and who better to learn from DeMarcus Lawrence, because that's what he's about, is the hand placement and being able to really rock you with multiple counters and multiple moves. So that's a good mentor if that happens that way, where you can learn that rapidly and be able to maybe advance your game. Because like you said, Marcus, doesn't have super band, not super athletic, not super twitchy, but has that mental part where I can beat you other ways. So really learn from D-Law, because you really is clone.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good point. Let's go to linebacker really quick. We have two young guys that everybody really likes. Last year, Overshown.
Yes.
This year, Leofow. Yeah. I can tell by your voice you excited about that. What do you like about both of those guys?
Relentless, both of them. I think that's what I like about both of them. They relentless. They got that energy, especially Overshown. Overshown got that energy I love. Yeah, like Overshown. Yeah. Overshown was a leader his rookie year. Overshown was leading the huddle as a rookie. Okay. And he just got that. He got that alpha energy, Lori. He just like, okay, we're not playing good. He's coming off the field yelling at everybody. Okay, he ain't gonna be that quiet, silent. He gonna be slamming fists on the thing. Let's go. I want that, because too many times we see Dallas, especially on the defense, they come off the field after they getting their ass kicked, and we like, how come everybody just sitting there and looking at everybody? How come this is the defense? Maybe the offense need to be more surreal, but the defense need to be turned up. Yes. Like we got to get this ready. So I love that, and he's got ability, and he got bigger, and just I feel like Zim gonna turn up with you. Maris, I was on him in the draft. You know, I went to the Senior Bowl, but shout out to my girl Stargazer.
Yeah,
we have a show, and we had a show on linebackers, and I gave out my linebackers, and Maris was the first one she mentioned. And she was telling me all about him. I knew about him, but I didn't really watch him like that. Yeah. After we did the show, I went and watched him. I said, okay, Star. And then when I went to the Senior Bowl, I'm like, okay, I like him. I kind of want him because he plays with his hair on fire. Yes, he may miss some tackles, but he's uber aggressive. And I think that's why he missed quite a few tackles, because he's uber aggressive. But I feel like he's an attacking player. He comes downhill. He's good enough athletic ability. He's a smart guy, went to Notre Dame.
Yep.
High tackle. I think he'll be a high tackle. And then being with Kendricks, I think that's a match made in heaven too. I think Kendricks, he'll soak it up. I really do like the pick of Kendricks. Obviously he's a little longer than the tooth, and like, that's the only dude you got. But he's cerebral. I feel like we need a commander on the defense. We need a commander on the defense.
Yep.
And I feel like that's what he is. And I feel like the linebacker group, which was a weakness last year, I think may become a strength this year, y'all.
I think so too.
I
Yeah.
think so too. Yep.
Yeah. For the people who follow this show, they heard me say all off season, the biggest problem with our linebackers, we don't have a general. There's nobody
Yes,
who can call the plays.
100, Marcus.
So
Did you
go ahead,
see it?
Amanda.
Someone said they had Hooker work like helping lead the plays at camp. I don't know if that's true. I just saw someone comment that they have been working with Hooker to lead the charge and like call, which seems odd, but I mean that's what they're saying. And there was like a whole interview about it. I need to watch it. It was on our local news. I need to check it out.
Okay.
But they're talking, yeah. So I don't know. Has anyone else seen that? Marcus, James,
I,
have
don't,
y'all
bel-
seen it?
I gotta see that
I don't
because
believe
he
that.
was already talking. I'm a green dot guy. That's why I came over here because I wanted to be green dot guy. I want to be the man because he wants to play for another contract. And he knew with Zim, he was going to be that. So I got to see the tape. And even if I see the tape, I ain't believing it.
Weird. I was so confused. I'm like, what? But that was Marcus's big concern is who's going to lead the defense. So who do you think's going to lead? Like at this point, because the only person with experience really that's called a defense is Kendricks, right?
Yeah,
that's it. Everyone
I
else.
just feel like that's what he mainly when I listened to him when he was going to San Francisco and he changed his mind and came to Dallas. I feel like he said, and I looked at what his interview said. He said, "I'm gonna have more opportunity here. I'm not gonna be that guy in San Francisco that I can be here in Dallas, and I want another contract. So this is gonna help me do that. So it's hard for me to believe that if he came over here to be that guy, now he's gonna take that to Malik Hooker. We'll see."
One more question, then we'll go to the secondary. We'll get out of here. When we talk about Mike Zimmer, we all kind of know his claim to fame is that double A gap linebacker blitz. Who are the two guys you want to see in their position on third down?
Overshown.
Okay.
Throw some Micah in there.
Micah.
Because you can rush other guys off the edge, but don't take that linebacker just strictly away from Micah. You heard Zimmer say, he can do a lot of things. A lot of things. So I ain't gonna just keep him here. He too good to just keep him in one spot. And I was like, okay, cool, Zim. I'm messing with you with that because you ain't just gonna relegate him here. Don't relegate him. He can do whatever. So I want to see some Overshown, some Parsons, because Overshown just be turned up, y'all. I need to see all that Overshown. Obviously, we know the injury, so that might bring him along slowly. But man, if he just Overshown be healthy, because I just feel like we need that. And you know what, Damone Clark, I don't mind seeing you either. I hope this is a bounce back year for Damone Clark because he said he was playing out of position. He said it, it wasn't his fit, and I feel like Zim. That's Zim. Zim is defense, right? That's him. So I feel like Zim is going to help bring up Damone Clark too. So I like the linebacker room.
Yeah, when I look at Damone Clark and then we'll go to secondary, I think, like you said, he was playing out of position. His biggest problem is I think he needs a linebacker to kind of tell him what to do.
Yes.
I think you need to take and not saying he can't interpret it.
He processes it too slow.
He processes slow, right? He needs somebody to say, hey, watch this, and just let him turn his brain off and play off instincts.
Because when he thinks, Lord have mercy.
Yeah, because he's got everything else you want. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what he can bring.
Because he got great size and he's got the athletic ability. You feel me? Hey, and I ain't mad that Damian Wilson came back because he's been with the team. He's a veteran. I just like how you brought some of those veterans back to kind of help these young guys kind of speed up their process.
I think Damian Wilson was 100% kickoff rules. 100%.
Yeah, you on to something, Marcus.
Yeah, I think him, Willie Harvey came from the XFL, so he knows him better than anybody. Him, Willie Harvey, Vigil. I think they just signed him. I think those are going to be the guys who kind of lead the charge on kickoff because, like I said, I think we're going to start taking corners and safeties off and start putting more linebackers and ends on that kickoff team. All right, so let's go to the secondary really quick, and then we'll get you out of here. Appreciate you staying with us. We're hour 24 minutes in.
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, the views are still going up, so thank you guys for rocking with us. Make sure you stay to the very end because we are still doing that giveaway in a few minutes. Let's go to the corner position first. because we got a lot of players back there, and one or two players are gonna be odd men out. You got Trayvon Diggs coming back. Bland has pretty much solidified himself as that guy. Jordan Love, not Jordan Love. I don't know why I said Jordan Love. Jordan Lewis. Jordan Lewis is definitely going to be that slot guy. And then you got a bunch of young guys and some special teams veterans. So from the group, and it's a big group with Scott, Mukwamu, the guy we drafted this year, Carson, Wright. Who am I missing? Goodwin. That's five guys. That's a whole secondary right there. And none of those guys are in the starting rotation. Who do you think are the odd men out, and who do you like in that group? We won't have to talk about the top three guys. Just Carson, Scott, Mukwamu, Wright. Anybody you like from that group, and who do you think are the odd men out?
Not Sean Wright, odd man out. I don't know how he's still making team, dog. I don't know how he's still making the team. So you definitely got to be the odd man out from me. I need to see what Eric Scott year 2 is. You know what I'm saying? Y'all traded up for him last year. I want to see what year 2 is.
Yeah.
The Nation Wright's the main. They got a Keemon Hall they just picked up. You know, I those type of guys I don't know. Mukamu, he got an injury. I need to see him get off that injury because to me he's the Swiss Army knife. Mukamu is like that. He's the Swiss Army knife. You don't know what you're going to do when he come in the game, and that's what I like about him. He can play corner. He can play outside. He can play inside. He can play safety.
Both safety.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Right, and he's big. So he's a X factor for me. I want him to get healthy because he's an X factor for me, for us. I love that Carson kid, y'all. I ain't going to lie.
I do too.
I like him.
He looks great. Looks amazing.
He's so natural. Like, have you seen them feet and them hips? Dog,
yes.
that's it. That jank is natural.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And he knows how to run them routes. I mean, the anticipation. Oh my gosh, they call him the seatbelt. I agree. And I didn't know nothing about him like that. And even when they picked him up, I didn't hate on the pick. I was like, yeah, you could have got this and this. And then I started watching them videos, and I started watching like, okay, I'll back off that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Carson. I apologize. You look like a dog. Now, a lot of people ain't going to agree with me.
Yeah, that's one of those guys that you say, how did he fall this far in the draft?
Exactly.
I was about to say steal of the draft. I think that's your steal.
I'm going to keep it real, y'all.
Good.
A lot of people don't like what I'm going to say. And this ain't no diss on Bland.
I already know what you're about to say.
You already know what I'm saying.
I do. I know exactly.
Put his butt back in that slot. I want Carson to take this outside because Carson is an outside corner.
Yes.
He is an outside corner. He big enough. He fast enough. He lock you down. You got Diggs over there, and you got Jordan Lewis and Bland. You got 4 across the board. If they go 4 wide, I feel great about that because we saw Bland get worked by them outside, even in preseason.
Yeah.
He gets worked by them top guys. He doesn't have that top end speed. He's fluid, right? But that top end speed he just does not have. And some of those guys can really exploit that. And I just feel like, he had 5 interceptions in the slot, so it ain't like he can't turn up back in the slot.
Yeah.
I just feel like Dallas don't just say, don't play DaRon Bland in the slot anymore because he was such a dog on the outside. Don't do that because he can still play that slot. So keep all options open on that outside. That's all.
Yeah. So feet to the fire. We know Wright's out. You got to get rid of one more guy. Who's the second guy that's gone?
Ooh wee. I'm gonna tell you right now, it could be Scott.
Okay.
I think Scott is the guy. The light's gonna be on you, especially if they traded up to get you last year, and you don't show in this preseason. He could be the guy. So I think he's got to have a good camp, just because they maybe has some expectations since they drafted and moved up. They want to see something. So I feel like if you don't show, they got enough depth right there that like, we can freaking move somebody in another direction. And he was a 5th rounder too, wasn't he? If I'm not mistaken, or 6th rounder, 5th or 6th.
Scott, I think Scott was a 4th or 5th.
5th,
okay.
right?
He was a 5th.
5th,
Okay. So you're not bulletproof
Right.
as a fifth, right? We know you're not bulletproof as a
Yeah.
fifth. So he's got to show us. So I think he could be the guy because the other guys that they have out there, like the Butler, Josh Dewberry, Josh Butler.
Yeah. I'm
I'm
not even
not.
counting those guys.
I'm not even looking at you guys to
Right.
be real.
Yeah, I agree.
I think this is cornerback wise, it is the strongest position on this team. I just looking at what we have on it is I cannot tell you how many people would love to have the problem that we're about to have because there's some really good. I mean, Scott, Izzy, they have flashes of greatness. They really do. I mean, I personally think Izzy might even have his feet to the fire. And I know people don't want to hear that. Everyone loves Izzy, but I really think his feet might be to the fire too, just because it's year 3. This is year 3. This is the
And
make
you got to
it or
stay
break
healthy.
it year.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're not healthy. So you're not if you can't stay healthy, you're not bringing something to the team. You're taking you're taking a spot from someone who could be out there giving their all. So I think Izzy's feet are right in that fire, and if he's not careful, he might find himself out the door.
All right. Special teams nugget. The 3 positions on special team that are pretty much guaranteed to make the team are the gunners, the jammers, and the personal protectors on punt. Pay close attention to who's that gunner jammer opposite CJ Goodwin. Because if there's a corner that's out there and he's out there consistently, he's more than likely going to make this team. So just pay close attention to who that guy might be as the gunner jammer opposite Goodwin, because Goodwin's spot is on lock.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So it's probably going to be a corner. They rarely use wide receivers out there. So pay attention to that. If it's a Eric Scott or maybe even a Nashawn Wright, if they're out there consistently, that's gonna cause a problem for a guy that we really like in their secondary.
That's what
I will.
Yeah, that's what I like about Zim coming in is Zim's not got really a personal relationship with any of these people that Dan Quinn had built, which made him potentially let players go and not play players that could have that we really should have utilized. So I like that Zim's come in with fresh eyes, fresh look, no feelings. He's going to put the best team on the field because he's playing for another job, really. I mean, he's putting a team out there, really, if he wants to coach somewhere. He's only on a 1 year here. So if he wants to coach somewhere else, you got to have success here in Dallas. So we'll see.
For sure.
Personally, I think Jerry called in a favor. Zimmer's son died a year or 2 ago, I think.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, he did.
I think he gave up on football after that. I think Jerry called in a favor. Hey, come back for 1 year. We don't know what we're doing with our head coach. We don't want to bring in a new DC. Al Harris is probably the heir apparent, but we don't want to give it to him yet. So just come and give us 1 year. That's what I think.
Hey, you know what? That sounds like a great. How you said it sounded like he said it just like that. It sounded so believable.
Yeah.
Have you tapped his phone?
Like for real. That sounded like the real conversation.
Yeah, I'm the other illegitimate child.
Okay, well, let's take over before he runs the place into the ground.
So this conversation comes up quite a bit, and then we'll go to safeties and get out of here. Bruiser Burrow saying, I feel Gilmore should have been brought back because of veteran presence. Kevin Nichols says, wouldn't mind signing Gilly back for insurance. Big Game, what do you think about bringing Gilmore back as a possible another option?
I mean, I'm cool with that. Like, we know Gilly a little bit older, but we can't sit there and say Gilly didn't help our team. Like, Gilly helped the team.
Oh yeah,
and he's a smart player. You need that. And I think somebody made a comment in there, and I didn't see it. And I know Diggs is, he's off the PUP and he's rolling, but I'm still nervous. If we're keeping it real, I'm still nervous about that knee. Like I am. I'm just nervous because how much Trevin really means to the team. So I guess I'm nervous about that. So yeah, just for that, the safety blanket, the security blanket. So I would definitely do it. I think the thing that they probably might be worried about, you're taking time away from these young players, and that's why we kind of don't want to go that route with him. So I can understand where they're coming from. So it's kind of hard, man. I would do it, but if they didn't, I can understand why too.
Yeah.
I like Gilly, and we would have been up a creek last year if it wasn't for him. I mean,
Oh
Bland, of
Lord.
course, showed out, but Gilly
Mm-hmm.
really held down that other side. I love Gilmore. Do not get me wrong. Okay. I love him. But my issue with this is okay, so we sign him back. You're not going to cut him. I mean, you're good. He's your 50. He's on your 53. Who are you going to put to waivers, or who are you going to cut and hope sticks around that, you could, because last year it was with Brandon Aubrey because no one knew who he was. We, cut the kicker, and he's kind of, now everybody wishes
we're not doing that
they
again.
cut the kicker.
Right.
We can't do that this year. So you got, which player are you going to cut to keep Gilly on your roster when you make those cuts? Yeah. I mean, you tell him, hey, you're a veteran, we're going to sign you and then cut you and bring you back 2 days later. I mean, I don't think if they're going to bring him back, just do it after, 53s are done, right? Wouldn't that be the ideal?
Yeah.
But he ain't signing anywhere right now, which makes you wonder if he can pass a physical because that shoulder, there's questions there because Gilly was good last year. So why is there's got to be someone who could use him. Why has no one called? So I like the guy. I just don't know what the deal is because I would have signed him too. But now I look at all these other players like a Carson. What's going to happen? Who are you letting go to give him that position? Everything is like, Tetris when it comes to cutting down to the 53-man roster. So,
yeah, I agree with that part of it. I think, like I said, the only way you probably wouldn't because you want to get those young people some playing time, and who's gonna be the odd man out if you kept a Gilly, right? Because he ain't playing no special teams or nothing like that either. He's strictly that guy, right? Yep. So you don't have that flexibility with him, and he's older, right? And then just like you said, you had an injury, ain't nobody else been touching you after everybody. You were the darling of free agency and that before, and now nobody's messing with you. So that's a red flag for me too, and I think that's why that's a flag where that's why they may not have touched him because he may not be healthy.
And let's call a spade a spade. The number that the Joneses probably did
exactly
was probably so ridiculously low that
he said, "Hell no, I'll just train. I ain't doing that.
So I'll sit at home on the couch and go
like,
get
bro,
an
I'll be like, bro, I'm a veteran. I know I might fell off a little bit, but it ain't fall off that much. What you just offered me?
Yeah,
he's your Hall of Fame guy. I mean, he's headed.
That number's low with no guarantees.
No, it's low.
Yeah,
low.
What's that?
How low can you go?
What's that corner we signed like 2021? I think it was from Atlanta, who was supposed to come in and like be our starter, and they ended up cutting him for camp.
Why you say that so fast? It's right there on my damn tongue.
No, I can't think of his name. We got Jeff and Mendoza in the comments. They'll bring it up.
Yeah, you right because they be on it. That's one thing I love about the chat. Yeah. If you don't know it, the answer's coming within 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, yeah. Somebody in the comments. There was a corner we signed. I think it was 2020 year, and everybody thought he was gonna be the guy, and he ended up getting cut out of training camp, and I can't even think of his name, but we'll get to it. So last position, safety position. No, 2020.
Oh, 2020. Sorry, I'm trying.
He was from the Raiders, or maybe he signed with the Raiders after we cut him. I have to go look it up. But as we do that, we'll go to the safety position, and another interesting position. A lot of guys. I know there's been a lot of underground talk about Wanye Thomas. What do you think about Thomas? You think he has a chance to get that starting spot?
I like Wanye. I can't front. I like Wanye. I don't know about starter because you got Donovan and Hooker entrenched, but I think Wanye is I think Wanye covers better, just me, than Donovan. Not saying Donovan can't. I just feel like I like Wanye covering better. I feel like he has a wider range than a Donovan Wilson, and I don't think he's bigger too. Like Donovan ain't no. Like he will lay it on you, but I don't feel like his body can take the hits that he's going to put on you. So he's always susceptible to injury. Where I feel like Wanye is naturally a bigger player, so he can really absorb and do those hits. I really want Wanye to turn up. I liked his game last year. I like his energy. He's infectious. I like his personality. I like Wanye, and I feel like his personality adds an element to the team, and I think we need that in that backfield. So I want him to succeed. I hope he can succeed. I want him to succeed. Yeah.
Okay. So and that player was Daryl Worley, by the way.
Daryl Worley. Oh gosh, we had him on the show.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, remember when we had Daryl Worley on the show? We were hyped.
Yeah.
And you didn't even.
He ain't make it out the camp.
Didn't make it out
That's
the
how
training
great.
camp. We
That's
thought
how
was
great he was. Had him on the show. Don't even remember when we talk about it.
So another safety, Marquise Bell. I haven't seen anything from him. I don't think I saw him in the blue and white game. Have you seen anything? Is he playing free? Is he playing strong? Is he still sneaking in at linebacker?
He's still sneaking in a linebacker, very small plays.
Okay.
He's playing the free because you know he's a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
So I think they want to keep that element with him. I haven't heard a lot about him. He's been quiet on the front. You know, I'm interested to see what Zimmer is doing with him because I don't see Zimmer really saying too much about him. You know, that was Dan Quinn's pet cat. Yeah. One pet cat to one coach, you may not be that pet cat to another coach. So I think we kind of need to see that. But I think Marquise Bell can play. So those are some young guys back there. And you know what? I got to give a selfish plug. I know we ain't heard a lot about him, and I know it's going to be tough, but my dogs, Julius Wood.
That was my next question.
Yeah, you know, I got to give a shout out to my dog. I know it's going to be tough because you got 4, I feel like, locked down as far as the roster, and I don't know if you can keep that 4th. But I'm hoping if it don't, because that it's so crowded back there, that he could clear them waivers and still stay with the team. But, you know, there was a lot of interest in Julius when he was, you know, when he didn't get drafted. He had a lot of teams that were like, we're ready to take you if you don't get drafted. So when I talked to his dad, he even told me that they were surprised the Cowboys talked to him because he told me the Cowboys never called him. Cowboys never ever talked to him, never said nothing. Now I know where they called him and said, we want to sign you. So I feel like they liked him that much and they didn't want to talk about him so nobody else could take him. Yeah. So I think Julius, he lays the wood just like his last name. He will hit you. He's a studier of the game. He ain't about the rah-rah. Ain't about the glitz and glamour. He's about winning. He's about team. He's about family. Like, he's about everything that you want in a player to do the right things, right? Yep. So, you know, I know it's an uphill battle because it's a lot of room. It's a lot of people in that room, but I'm hoping that he can clear. You know, if it doesn't happen, he can still make this squad somehow. Because I think I think somebody will pick him up in the league regardless. So I'm hoping the best for you, Julius. Shout out to your dog, Columbus Rams, baby.
Hey, look who we got in the chat. What's up, Law?
Got Law.
Law,
baby.
Hey.
Came in just in time to hear the end. But we appreciate you joining. But yeah, you know, you bring up Julius Wood. I was going to ask you about him. When I look at like some of these young rookies, and you talked about this throughout the whole show, you bring in Marshawn Nealon. He reminds you of D-Law. You can get that guy who has a similar body type to help mold him. You talk about Leofow with Kendricks. Then you look at Julius Wood, and then you got Donovan Wilson right there who plays the same type of way. So I think like seeing stuff like that tells me he may have a good chance to kind of sneak on the roster some type of way because he has that ability to possibly be an heir apparent to a guy who they already really like that's a starter.
That's a great comparison because when I was doing videos about Julius when he got picked up, Donovan Wilson was one of the comparisons that came out, and I appreciate you making that comparison because when you look at them, they're almost like the same. Like Julius, I mean, he needs to get better in coverage. I'll admit that. Like if you watch his tape, he's got to get better in coverage. Has range, but still got to get better in that coverage. But we know just like Donovan, he will come up and absolutely light you up. He has no fear. He don't care, and he loves attacking people. He loves hitting people. I mean, I've known him since he was in 8th grade. So, I mean, I know he likes to hit people. So, that is like you said, Marcus, that could be an heir apparent. So maybe that's why they said we want to keep you because we're looking at you in the future and we don't know how much longer Donovan may be here. So, and the things that they're going to love the best, you are cheap. You are cheap. If you're cheap and have some ability, go ahead and go to Dallas.
That's the Dallas Cowboys bread and butter. Is how much do you cost again?
Exactly. We're not going to ask you about your ability. We want to ask you how much you want.
How much money you want?
Oh yeah, you want that much? We out. Bye.
Yeah, that's exactly where. Oh man, I like a few of the. I don't know. I like a few of the draft picks that we really pulled in, but I like Wood. I do, but I really want to see. Well, Hall that Law brought up. I want to see that too. So yeah, I've seen stuff out of camp as well. So looks very, very talented. Yeah. But
that secondary that secondary room in general, it's a fight. Don't come in there playing around.
Yeah, there is no room for error if you're in the secondary right now. That it is such a strong room, and the Cowboys could make. Oh, Jerry doesn't do it. We have so many opportunities to really better this team by reaching out to people,
flipping players and getting rid of people.
Hey,
we can flip.
Look, call Dan Quinn. You've got some of his little favorites sitting there on your roster. Hey, make a phone call. Yes, it's in the division, but they're his guys. Like Jerry makes the most idiotic decisions where
it's Steven too though. Because Steven loved the homegrown. You know what I'm saying? He loves the homegrown. And
Daddy, I'm here.
Because we want to be homegrown. I go back to what Boss Cowboy says all the time. They treat the outsiders like bastard childs. They treat them like kids that ain't theirs. And it's like the draft picks get all the love. But if you're an outsider or you unpicked, it's like we're gonna keep giving this draft pick 20 times the chance. When you're like, man, flip him and go get. He ain't doing the flip him and get something for him. You know what I mean? But Dallas don't never do that. They will stick in the one thing is a problem is they'll never admit mistakes. They'll never admit mistakes. They'll just do something to take your mind off of that, and they'll try to cover it up. You know, just like I said with that 4th round pick with Trey Lance. They knew, damn it, we messed up on that. We got to come back and trade in this draft, or we ain't gonna hear the last of it. You know what I mean?
I just don't get it. I really do not understand, because the definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And that's exactly what we've done for 30 years. You're getting nowhere. Don't you think it's time to change it up a little bit if you want to hang another trophy up in your little case before, you meet your maker? Jerry, you're pretty long in the tooth there. It's probably time to make some changes. Let someone else take over. You're a great businessman. Give someone with a football mind. You quit trying to convince yourself you have one.
Oh, why are you even talking like that, Amanda? Why are you even talking like that, Amanda? Why? Because he ain't never going to do that. If he been bullheaded for all these 30 years, you think he going to change now? Nope.
It's just a frustrating thing to sit there and have to deal with over and over and over again. As a Cowboys fan, it gets old. I'm never going to leave. This is my team. I grew up, born and raised on this team. But I get frustrated, and everybody has the right to be frustrated with this team, because all we're seeing is we're being sold a story. The story don't translate to what we see on the field. We're just good enough to get to the starting line, really, and then you fall apart. Yeah. Okay, that part of that's because you're homegrown. Find some people that you missed on in that draft. Bring them in when they become free agents. Build your team. Let's get past that starting line there of the playoffs. Let's make some progress. You keep blaming other players. You find a scapegoat every season. If you quit blaming anyone but your damn selves. That's the way it is. It drives me nuts. So I'll get off my soapbox, but it's just the way it goes.
All right, guys. So that's pretty much all we have for the show. But before we go, we got to do this giveaway. So I'm going to give you guys the DC4L 5th Quarter Podcast giveaway rules. If you win the prize, you must contact Amanda within 72 hours. Or the prize.
Or I'm going to get your prize.
or if your big game, James will claim it. Because we are doing giveaways that are Cowboys centric, we do request that you are a Cowboys fan if you win. We also ask that you go and follow us on Facebook and YouTube, and you have to give us Facebook permission to see your name on StreamYard so that we know who is winning the prize. So for this week's prize and this week's question, In order to determine who wins, you have to get the question correct. So the first person to answer it gets the prize. This week's question, because we're talking about training camp, besides the COVID year, what was the last location outside of Oxnard where training camp was held?
Ooh.
So
That's
go
a
ahead and
good
pull your
question.
Google up and see if you
That's
can
a
find
good
it.
question.
Outside of Oxnard, where was the last location training camp was held?
And there's the prize, just so everybody can see it.
Yeah, because you got Google nowadays. You gotta come with good questions.
Got to make them dig. So
Gotta make them dig.
The COVID year, it was held at the Star. So
right.
Kevin Nichols says Oklahoma. I do not believe that was the answer, Kevin Nichols.
Marcus came up with the question. I don't think that's right.
Hey, your question was a lot harder.
You told me mine was too hard last time.
It was. I thought this was easy. It's not California. That's where it's been, outside of Oxnard. Frisco. No, that was the COVID year.
Yeah, that's where the Star is.
Yeah, that's where the Star is. So we went back to Frisco because we couldn't travel due to COVID. So it would be basically the last time we were not in Oxnard. I did not think this would be that difficult.
Oh my!
All right, so Amanda, while they still put guesses up, let us know who is that a signed picture of.
That is Everson Walls, wonderful player. I wanted to do something a little bit special because just so everyone knows, we had a podcast many years ago. It's been forever, is what it feels like. And Big Game was our original host. Him and Skywalker Steele, who's also off to big things. Y'all know him from A to Z. So I want to do something special. And Everson Walls is one of my favorite players in Cowboys history. And if you don't know who he is, go look him up. But and if you don't win it, if no one claims this prize, I am going to send it to James.
We have a winner. It's Bruiser Burrows.
Oh, you got lucky, Bruiser. I was ready to claim.
It was in San Antonio at the Alamo Dome in 2011. So that was the last training camp outside of Oxnard.
Nice.
Very good.
Shout out to Bruiser. That was dope.
So Bruiser,
I love the name, by the way. Bruiser Burrows. I love the name.
Yeah. So Bruiser, make sure you contact the man within 72 hours, or that prize will be getting shipped to. You're in Ohio, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it will be getting shipped to Ohio, Bruiser.
Yep. Don't play around, because I'll be writing Amanda's messenger.
Oh no, send me a message anyway. I'm gonna get you something. Shoot me a message.
Okay. Oh, I like that. See, that's why I love Amanda.
Everybody likes to see my face because usually when I come on during the season, they know that means something's coming. That means I'm giving something away. We've got in fact, as soon as DC Pharrell and Bluff City Cowboys, our YouTube channels, get to 1,000 subs apiece, we're giving away an autographed full-size helmet, much like one of the mini in my collection. Not one of those though; those are mine. You can't have them.
Right.
But I do have a lot of stuff. I work with memorabilia daily, so let me know, y'all. Sub up, share it with your friends, get our YouTubes up, and I will give an awesome prize away, and we'll make it work. So.
All right, so Big Game. I know you got a lot going on, so before you go, let the people know where they can find you at. I know you do a lot of multi-streams with a lot of other people. Let the people know where they can find you at going forward.
Well, right now I'm just on the YouTube. I did do YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, but let me tell you what, Facebook, they be tripping, so I had to stay away from them. And then Twitter, y'all be trying to charge $22 a month. Now y'all charging for everything. You're not getting me. So guess what? You come on to YouTube and we have a good old time down there. I do a show. We do the final word on Tuesday with Boss Cowboys, Law Nation, the OC. We have great guests on there, and y'all know what it is. And then Burgers and Blitzes, which I actually did before this show. My dog Mike White, we go hard. We just have fun. Mike just be talking crazy, and I just love it. I just be sitting there listening to him sometimes, just go crazy. So that's just a fun show. And then Thursday, you can check me out with Stargazer, the Big Star Show. She's an up and comer. You better check her out. She's really good at what she does. She knows her stuff. And one thing I like about her is we go at it. Like she don't hold back. Like We already got something about we about to talk about already Thursday. She's like, oh, okay, we're gonna see about it on the show. I'm like, go ahead. So I love her. We got good back and forth. And then on Sundays, the best of enemies with me and my guy Joe Castro. He's a Philadelphia Eagles content creator. But he's a good one. He's not one of the goofies out there.
Yeah.
He ain't one of them like, oh God, take him
Don't
off
say
the
his
show.
name.
Yeah, he's not that guy. He's not the biased guy. He really knows football and he really talks it from open sides. And then we added my guy George Carmi, who's a Washington Commanders content creator. This is his first year on the show.
Okay.
This man is good. Check out George Carmi, Washington Commanders. He is really good with his stuff. He knows his stuff. And you know what? It's just three of us, and it's a really good show. And if you guys really want to look at some good NFC East stuff, I think you should check it out. So that's really the show during the week. And if you got time, come check me out. Usually in the evenings. Hit me up.
I didn't know about that enemy show. What time does that show come on Sundays?
We do it usually right before games. Sometimes we'll do it Saturday. Just kind of depends. But we usually go around 10, 11 in the morning.
Okay.
We like to get that early morning coffee, get you your orange juice, get your day ready. But yeah, definitely check it out because, like I said, we do it through the whole season. We do it through draft. We do it through the whole season. We'll do play-by-play whenever we play each other because it brings a good element. And then if one of the teams lose, we got to come on the next day. Well, same day or next day, and we got to talk about it why. So trust me, it gets animated and it's fun.
I can imagine.
It gets crazy. It gets crazy up in there.
Sure.
If you the week, don't come there.
Yeah. Now I know everybody knows about the final word because we all watch it religiously. What time does the Big Star show? What time do you guys normally air?
Big Star show is on 8 p.m. Eastern Central Time, 7 p.m. Central Time. So 7 p.m. if you're in Texas because she's in Texas. So 7 p.m. Central Time every Thursday.
Okay.
Check it out. Star is really good, man. She really is. And we have a really good show. And like I said, if you ever want to check out Burgers and Blitzes, that's my guy. He's crazy. So check it out.
All right. So as you guys can see, Big Game James is all over the place. Just hearing all that, I appreciate even more that you gave us a few hours tonight because it sounds like you're on a roll every night. So definitely.
You my peoples. Y'all my peoples, man. Like when my peoples, Amanda, man, we've known each other for a long time. Yeah. She has been the most gracious, nicest. I mean, I just really got a lot of love for you, man. That you're very genuine. You're real. And I just really appreciate you. So when you reached out to me, I was already like, yeah, as soon as you hit the send button, I sent it right back like, yeah, I win. And then Marcus, I just appreciate you, bro. Like one thing I really like about you is you talk about things don't know everybody talk about. That's what I like about you. Like, special teams, like, the things that a lot of people really don't talk about. And just with the kickoffs and just things, I really appreciate that you go in different angles and make people think.
Yeah, I'm a nerd.
You make people think. And that's what I appreciate because I definitely don't be seeing everything. So that's why I like coming on you because you'll show me things like I'm going to go off the show and I'm like, I'm really going to look at this kickoff thing because you done got me curious as hell about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely
so I appreciate both of y'all.
Yeah. All right, so if you guys want to continue to watch us, you can find us every Wednesday, 8:30 Central Standard Time, Facebook and YouTube. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube. Next week, we'll finally have some real football this Sunday.
Yes.
So we'll come back on the show next week. We'll talk about the game, what we saw, what we liked, what we didn't like. And from there, it looks like we'll be continuing on until the season. So we finally have real football topics and real Dallas Cowboys content. So I'm super excited about that.
Me too.
Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Definitely appreciate all your support. This show is definitely fueled by the fans, and you guys brought it as usual. Make sure you come back and join us next Wednesday. And as always, let's go Cowboys. We will see you guys next week.